My name is Stuart Weiler. I work with Elite Aerospace Group. You can see my contact information on the first slide. And Elite is hosting the webinar today on what's new in Windchill 11.1 and 11.0 and 11.1. So I just wanted to give you a very quick intro into Elite. We are a PTC partner. We do consulting and reselling for PTC, but we are also a manufacturer. We use PTC products in our factories. So we are using CAD and PLM, IoT, and AR. So some of you may have seen previous presentations. I gave one just 2 weeks ago on how we're using ThingWorx in our factory. So Elite is a little bit different company out there since we kind of serve both roles. So as far as what that means, we're here to help with all of your PTC product needs and support. You can see the PTC product lines across the bottom, and you can see all the different services that Elite can provide as well. So if you have any questions or want to learn any more about any of that, please feel free to contact me. Hopefully you have my contact information. Again, that was on that first slide. It's my name at eliteaerospacegroup.com. And before I hand off the presentation, I just want to give a quick plug for the next webinar that we'll be hosting. So on July 24th, that's 2 weeks from today, we'll be presenting an introduction to Navigate, and we'll also be showing off some of the custom apps that we've developed and are currently in use. So you'll get to see what Navigate looks like out of the box, what it looks like in the simple, basic configured form, why it's useful, what it can do, but then we'll also get into some of the more advanced features, some of the things that can be done, and we'll talk about how we've benefited from using Navigate. So with that being said, I will pass the presentation over to my colleague Cody, who works with PTC at the Virtual Center of Excellence, who will be giving us a presentation on Windchill.
Thanks, Stuart. Assuming you can hear me, all good?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine, thanks.
Okay, and is my screen coming across?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and get started. Thanks again for the introduction. My name's Cody Wiltrout, and I'll be going through today's webinar on the things that are new in Windchill 11.0 and 11.1. So to start, what's actually new in Windchill 11? Well, some of the big things, the first one is actually Navigate. So as Stuart just said, they'll actually be having another webinar on Navigate in 2 weeks, and it is something that's new with Windchill, and it provides a lot of opportunity for different teams and different companies. It allows you to really actually utilize all of your PLM data for people who are maybe outside of heavy users. What it's designed to do is to be a role-based application suite that gives you your users access to information from your PLM tool like Windchill. And so if you have someone who maybe wouldn't work every day inside of your PLM system and might be overwhelmed by having to go in there and look for information, they could instead use Navigate for something like view drawings or viewing documents. And it's kind of with the idea of having instant skills. It's meant to look very simple user interface, almost similar to a web page style layout like Google, so that you can really quickly and easily search for information from your system and then be able to download that and actually utilize it. It's already your information that you have stored. You want to be able to actually use it, and Navigate can help you to get along with that. Another new feature is along with PLM in the cloud. So there's been some changes to our cloud solution around Windchill. It's a good option for reducing your IoT overhead. We offer fully hosted SaaS offerings, so we'll take care of all the background work for it and being able to upgrade to later versions, things like that, so that you don't have those upfront IT difficulties. It also gives you the options to be able to scale more easily because it is a flexible offering. So, you can meet what you're looking for your group size. And if you have changes, we can accommodate that for changing sizes that meet your needs. There also have been a lot of improvements in Windchill 11 and 11.1. So we'll start with 11 and then move forward from there. So some of the improvements to Windchill 11, some of the first ones were around searching capabilities. Again, similar to what we talk about Navigate, the information in your PLM system, the real value comes from being able to reuse that, and the best way to be able to reuse your information is to be actually able to find it quickly, spend less time searching for it. And so some improvements that they've had with this is that for one thing, they've done multifaceted searching. So that's something that people have been looking for a long time with Windchill, and that has been added with Windchill 11. So as you can see in the image there, you can do some faceted searching to help speed up your process of finding the information that you're looking for. They've also increased the compatibility between the parts link classification search and your normal attribute search. So now you can actually be able to use both at the same time, so that, again, you can utilize both searching functionalities to help get what you're looking for and need. There's also been some improvement to the filtering in searching, and they've really overdone the user interface for the searching as well to try to make that more streamlined and, a little bit easier for people to work with. There have also been some improvements to the bill of materials transformation. So this is touching a little bit on MPM link, but they have streamlined the user interface for MPM link. In the past, there have been some complaints about it being a little bit difficult to use. So they've tried to really streamline that interface so that it is easier for people to actually be able to utilize. They have also made some improvements around the associativity on parts and occurrence levels, as well as being able to create plant-specific attributes and put those on top of your MBOM. There's also conformity analysis between EBOMs and MBOMs that's also been added in Windchill 11. So, again, just the idea being that you have this information from your design BOM, you want to be able to utilize that downstream for manufacturing. So there have been some improvements around making that a little bit more straightforward, streamline the process so that you can really utilize that information. There have also been some other smaller improvements, maybe not in bulk like search or like NPM link, but there has been some updates, for example, to things like Creo's element direct management. So they've made some updates so that it's easier to interface with that, as well as introduced automatic project updates and made some new product introduction process improvements. So now we are into Windchill 11.1. So these are some of the new improvements that have also been added into 11.1. So we'll start here. There's a good many. We'll start with the platform here at the top. So one of the first things to note is that there has been applet removal and replacement with WebGL plugins. So this is partly the way that Windchill was going, as well as how the web bases are going as well. A lot of web browsers are no longer supporting plugins or applets, so they are moving to WebGL plugins. One example of this is with the visualizations inside of Windchill. The visualizations are now WebGL. Upfront to you, that doesn't really make a lot of different changes. It's just more compatible with web browsers. Some further additional changes along with that, however, is that the change editor for change processes has been changed from being an applet-based editor to an HTML-based editor. So your workflow editor is now supported in HTML, and the capabilities and the layout are still identical to how it used to look. So you don't have to retrain anyone, and there's no requirements around that. But what it really is going to allow you to utilize is just it's a smoother interface. It's a little bit faster as well, more responsive. You don't have to work with the applet framework that you used to have to work with in the past. Make sure that it was running and that you didn't accidentally close it while it was trying to create the workflow for you. Next, there's been some updating to licensing compliances with Windchill 11.1. So this is a pretty important point, but starting with Windchill 11.1, license files are locked to Windchill instances, and subscription time limits are enforced. But along with this, you do have the ability that it's not locked to a specific Windchill version, so you don't have to worry about versioning updates or anything like that. and your license acquisitions are automatic through your connection to PTC. There's also been some background improvements to the web service infrastructure, as well as to the Windows Server for Windows Server 2016. Next, some of the big ones that people have been asking for around usability. The number one that customers have asked for a long time is to be able to have cascading attributes. And so that is something that's been added inside of Windchill 11.1. So you can actually have those now to be able to support parts, documents, and change objects. So an example here of how one of those would look. I'm sure many of you have seen cascading attribute before, but you start by choosing, for in this example, your country, or the continent, I should say. The continent's going to select which countries you have to select from, down to the state, and then down to the cities. So before, with Windchill, you always had to view all of them, but now you actually have the capability to set those cascading attributes so you can have further attributes set by the first one. There's also been added rich text into your change management. So you now have the capability to fully define in your description field what your proposal is for your change request using the new rich text editor. There's no longer any length of text for the change, so there's not a limit on the length of text that you can put in for it, as well as the fact that you can utilize things now like being able to bold, italicize, underline. If you want to do bulleted or numbered points, you can do that. Whatever really helps you to get the information for what you're trying to change across. So just some formatting improvements that really day-to-day users can utilize for improvements. There have also been some updates around the core things such as CAD data management and improved filtering for PSB. So just core Windchill improvement. And then another big improvement, or big change perhaps, at least with Windchill, is there's also now CAD AR publishing from within inside of Windchill. So for the AR publishing, whenever you have an object inside of Windchill that is a part or a CAD document, you can publish an AR experience from it. So for example here, you would just go to a part, start with your part information page, the details tab, go to your actions. You can choose to publish an AR experience. Whenever you do that, it's going to bring up a wizard for how you want to set some of your publishing information. It'll publish to our cloud instance, and then you can download a thing mark from Windchill and be able to view that AR experience of the object that you had done. We can show a quick video of that as well here. So we'll start just with part, choose the information to go to it. Once we're at the details page here for this part, we just come into our actions, come down, choose to publish an AR experience. It's going to open up the wizard for us here. We have some options around what we want to name the experience, and as well as how you want the thing mark to be in place to the object. So we have it set to bottom right here, but that essentially just means whenever you scan the thing mark, which acts as a QR code associated to this object, where do you want your object to show up in correlation to it? So we'll actually set it to back so that if you were scanning a computer screen, it would come out in front of it. You can also choose what quality you want for your AR experience. So if it's a pretty heavy model, you might want to set it to low resolution so that it loads a little bit faster for you. But you do have the choice to set it to high as well if you would prefer that and you think it looks better like that, or if it's a lightweight model. Once you have it published, you can come up to the quick links, go to your thing marks. Here's the thing mark we have that we just published to, and then you would download the Creo View, or it's now Vuforia View application, and that's available on any of your devices, whether it's Apple, Microsoft, Google, Android. All of those will be covered, and it's a free application to download from those app stores. And then you can come in and do things like change the scale and rotate the object so you can get a quick view of what you're working with. So, utilize that for things such as design review, being able to share off information, quickly with other parts of the team. Again, that idea of really being able to utilize your information that you're keeping inside of Windchill. That covers what's new and what improvements have been added to Windchill. Stuart, I don't know if any questions have come in while I was presenting or not, but I think that covers everything so far.
As of yet, no questions, but now would be a great time if anyone has them. If it's a simple question, go ahead and enter it into the chat session, or if it's a little more complicated, you can just make a note in the chat and I can unmute you so that you can ask your question. One thing that you guys might have heard that Cody was mentioning, kind of a little trip up just because it's a recent change. Creo View is now Vuforia. PTC's rebranded. Essentially all of their augmented reality is now part of the Vuforia package. I don't yet have something on the schedule, but in the very near future, we'll make sure that we are going to host a webinar on Vuforia and assorted elements of that as well. So if anyone's interested, stay tuned for that. All right, well, as of yet, still no questions, so I guess we'll just give it another minute. So again, 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing a webinar on Navigate. If anyone has any other questions that come up after the meeting today, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help with any questions you may have. All right. Well, have a nice day, everyone. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to speaking with you all in about 2 weeks on Navigate. Take care.
Thank you all for your time today. Bye.